Welcome to Get Out of Bed. Thank you. Subscribe, like, do all that. Just want to share with you a little bit about my influences for our 30-day semen retention challenge and where I got these influences to even start this thing. So, number one, we have squats. Number two, we have breath work. And number three, we have a very basic Tai Chi bouncing exercise. So the squats, I got an influence from David Goggins. Now he actually had a practice during COVID, where he does these squats for about 40, it's a 45-minute squat thing, and he's kind of, his wife's on there asking questions, he's kind of answering questions, he's doing the squats, and I realized how much it helped me motivated me to continue with the squats and to do it because he was there. It didn't feel like you were doing them by yourself, like a weirdo in the gym, just sitting there with your headphones on. Well, been there, right? But so I realized that there was something really big with that. I couldn't find too much of that on YouTube. So the squats, credit is due to him on that because it kind of gave me the idea. Also the motivational tactics that I add, which makes our program unique to me, to our program here, from years of whatever I've gone through, and this kind of natural motivation just helps. It just comes out kind of in a general form, right? Sort of in this sort of kick you in the butt thing. Let's go, let's keep going, and it really has to do with semen retention and holding the seed, not watching porn and doing these things. So it's aimed at that. 2, breath work. Look, years ago I was heavily addicted to drugs, and I went to Mexico City to do this thing called Ibogaine. Ibogaine is one of the strongest hallucinogenic psychedelics in the world. It beats ayahuasca. It is from Africa, and I took this thing in the Mexico City up in the mountains, and I remember my breath started going, and my whole body was just changing. I was transforming into a different person. It was just like it was just destroying the drugs that were still in my system. It was just an incredible experience. It was about a 24-hour experience of a deep thing. Anyway, let's get to the point. The next day, I clicked on YouTube and I saw Wim Hof breathing technique. So I wanted to replicate what I had just did the night before, I was doing this deep breath work, like, where's this coming from? So, and I did it and just remember my whole body tingling and I felt great, it was like, oh man. And then I was 2 months more in a rehab there in Mexico, and I started teaching the other people there about this breath work. People were saying it's better than the drugs I was doing. They were feeling it in their whole body. So it helps get dopamine. Later on that year, when I went back to the United States, I met Wim Hof in person a few times and volunteered at his groups. I got to share my story, and I had a kind of a connection there with that. And it really changed my life. I was doing breath work all the time, every day basically. I still do it, continuous to this day. It helped me with kind of addictions. Number 3, I started doing Tai Chi as well. My Tai Chi master, who lives in San Diego, California, Master Han. And he's from Korea, and he did stuff in Shaolin, Taekwondo, Tai Chi master, all that. And I remember during our practice, we would just do these very basic bouncing, before we'd start, and we'd just feel really good. We would go into the grass in the park, and we would do this kind of very basic bouncing shaking technique. And that just stuck with me. Here in South America, I still do that, before working out. And so I put these 3 things together with the semen retention, because the squats kind of helps you balance that out when you're feeling that high energy. It really just does a number on you to really get that kind of, because it's a very high testosterone technique practice, semen retention is. So this thing kind of balances that up. The breath work, it just it calms everything down. It gets dopamine back, I believe. It helps get your dopamine back up because you've been watching those videos, having a release. So this is kind of your new way to find that dopamine, to meet that match. You understand that dopamine that you've kept releasing, unnaturally. This is actually a very natural way to sort of bring that back rapidly, so you can actually feel good and help with the triggers quickly. And then the bouncing techniques, kind of bring it all together. It's just the final 2 minutes, that we would do in the Tai Chi exercises that I learned. So all these things, I'm giving credit where it's due. This is not like my own invention thing, but what's unique about what we did here, Get Out of Bed, Florian and I, we went out and filmed up there, and we brought all these things together. And this is why it's unique. because it's aimed at this semen retention. Yeah, you can go on there and find individual videos and try to do it yourself. Well, great, but we're going to save you the trouble, you know. So anyway, we'd love to see you do the program. You know a little bit more about it now, about what you're getting into. 30 days. Each day is basically essentially the same thing with a different kind of message. Okay, a different location that's filmed, a different message in each squats where I'm doing the directed at motivation to get you to not, you know, to keep your energy and to not watch dirty videos for that day is unique and it's different. So it will be a different video every day, but with the same strategic practice, these 3-part practice for these 30 days, something that you just do every day as a discipline. And this is what we made. So we're very proud of it. And I'd love to hear, I mean, Florian, he had his, you know, without him, this whole thing wouldn't be possible. So we put our egos aside, we just came together and we like, let's build this thing together. And let's, you know, this is our thing, get out of bed, you know, and it's gonna be our thing, including you too, because I'd love this thing to grow into something else. You know, not a cult, nothing weird, but like something that's really productive for men and other practices that have helped them. You know, this is what this is about. You know, it's not like this practice is the 10 Commandments set in stone. Like this is what, you know, we've come up with, but, you know, so anyway.
Well, thank you, brother, for the introduction. Hello, everybody. My name is Florian. If you don't know me by now, and I'm the co-founder of Get Out of Bed. Yeah, Austin said something very important. He introduced me to that practice 2 years ago. Austin has been doing that for more than 10 years already, and I did not know about that practice. I would have started that much earlier if I would have heard of it, but I didn't. So he told me that practice 2 years ago, and I remember the very first week I was getting this syndrome that's called blue balls. Basically what it means is like you get a stinging pain that kind of tends to radiate sometimes even up to your solar plexus from here when you hold your seat. And that was kind of a little bit painful. I struggled with that for the first week or two. Afterwards, my life drastically improved. In terms of motivation, in terms of getting out of bed, in terms of physical strength, in terms of dedication, in terms of clarity as well, a lot of things happened. So, yeah.
Yeah, so with that, we would love to invite you guys to our program, to our 30-day challenge, and try it out for yourself. You know, Florian was being humble in what he was saying. You know, like he said, like the things that he's brought to it. We're retaining our seeds, and we've combined forces, and we've created really 2 pretty major businesses. Our other one is like a whole nother thing where we're trying to, you know, a salt company, and we're doing like a whole bigger thing, which was from semen retention and, you know, and really like channeling our energy and other things. So we just want to show you that it's possible to get out of bed, because I've been there. I know what that's like to just be hanging out in bed and comfortable, but you get so uncomfortable in that comfortableness that you have to get out and do something. And this is why, like, let's just make a very basic 30-day challenge that, well, at least you can do something every day and just, you know, do the squats, do the breath work, do that, retain your seat, don't watch the video, and see what happens. The rest is up to you. We're not here to dictate your life, and yeah, you gotta do this, and there's theory behind it. Man, no. Look, you take what you can learn and you leave the rest. You take what's good for you and you leave the rest, you know? So we really suggest this program. And we would love to see you there.
And I would like to add, the way we came to meet each other, it complemented very well. You want to use that practice in order to complement as well what you're missing right now, as well as amplifying the natural strength that you have already. Both of us happen to be very artistic people. Like, I love writing, I love music, so does he. And with semen retention, all of that gets amplified. So we match very well, and we accompany each other and the skills that we have very well. For example, I have a marketing background, I brought that to the business. He has this physical strength and his charisma that he brings to this business. And I think also positivity, you know, you have to know how to maneuver that energy, and I think this is part of what I can bring to the table here as well. So that you know when what to do, what not to do, so that you have some guidance as well. It's one thing to have the practice to raise the energy, but also we can coach people on a different level in a monthly program that we offer for people who want to be more advanced in that. We get great guidance from us on a daily basis. So with that, find out what this practice can bring to your life. Basically, this is the point. Find out what your natural strength, what your natural capacities are that you can amplify with semen retention. Because it's not about being like somebody else, being like us, being like other role models that you have.
Exactly.
It's about finding out what your natural talents, inclinations, and capacities are that you can amplify with the energy and the purity of semen retention.
100%, man, 100%. And just to throw in, just to close what we're saying here, you know, we have a couple extra things that are included. The 30-day challenge, the $33 30-day challenge, by the way, is the course. The 30-day challenge is included, as well as a Telegram group when you're struggling, you know. I mean, between Florian and I, we're going to be messaging on there, giving daily, you know, advice, things like that that's helped us. Look, you know, take advantage of that, as well as Q&As on live stream videos. So you'll be able to talk to us, interact with us too. It's worth it. I really think it's worth it. Just try this 30 days and give it a shot. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Really? You're 16, you're 17, you're 30. It doesn't really matter what age you're at. If you've never done this, you've never tried. This could be the thing that's like, oh, I know subconsciously that watching these videos and losing my, I know I feel bad. Why do I feel bad? It's because you're not living your full potential. There's a reason why. Not to sound like some religious guy and stuff like it's bad for you and God's mad at you. Look, there's probably a reason why, and it's just because it's like you're wasting your potential life force that could have been used to make like some really cool things in your life. You know, you're alone, you're single. This might be the thing that gets you out there. Create a family. You probably, you know, get a wife, create a family, do these things that you maybe didn't think of before, and you start thinking out of yourself. It's all selfish. Watching the videos, doing drugs. I know what being extremely selfish is like. It's not like a cool way to live. It's not a fun way to live. And I'm telling you, the way out is by, you know, holding on yourself, being a little bit selfish with that energy, and with that, then you can just like. There's no limits to what you can be. And man, you might even find yourself in the middle of Peru, you know, in the middle of South America, while there's protests going on here, and being able to push through it because you got the strength that you didn't have before. I'm telling you this from life experience, recent life experience, by the way. I wouldn't have, you know, if I was still stuck in it, I would have still been holding on to fear. You know, Florian, he would have, if he was still holding on to fear, he wouldn't have built he's building like a whole empire up there with, it's just amazing with growing food and everything. It's incredible. It's incredible. And really, I think a lot of it is due to the semen retention, and to that's tapping into the potential that was already within us. So I'm just curious. The reason I'm like it's coming out is I want to see what that untapped potential within you is. Don't you want to find out? You know. So find out. Click on the link. Let's see where this goes. Why not? We'll see you there.